Hey everyone! For those of you that don't know me, I'm Kelly Green, and I have a 6-year-old daughter who is on the autism spectrum. So I just came home from about 2.5 hours of school meetings with 3 different groups and professionals at my daughter's school, and I just wanted to share some insight that I gained from today and from previous IEPs. We're coming up on our 4th IEP for my daughter, so I feel like I've gained some tricks and tips along the way, so I wanted to share them with you. So hopefully your next IEP goes smoother, or you feel more at ease, and a better outcome for you and your kiddo. So some of these tips may seem silly or trivial, but really it's about making you comfortable and so that you can put your best foot forward and create a great IEP or have a great outcome from your meeting with your child's teacher or other educational professional. So I came up with 5 tips. So my first one is have a positive mental attitude. So it's sometimes difficult when you're going into an IEP or going into a meeting with a teacher and your child has just bit someone or done something that you're really uncomfortable with, to have a positive attitude going into that meeting, or you're not happy with something that a teacher did, but just try to go in with a neutral, positive attitude rather than coming in, guns blaring. You'll have a much better outcome if you can try to stay calm and be positive about the outcome. So that's number 1. Number 2 is bring something soothing. So I started doing this after my first IEP, where halfway through I started crying. I was not expecting for there to be 8 professionals sitting on the other side of the table basically talking about how terrible my child was and all these areas that my child was behind, or struggled in or would need support in. I was just not prepared for that. So it really, really hit me hard when I had all these people on the other side of the table that I felt like didn't know my child, had had 1 or 2 meetings with my child, and then had all these negative impressions of them. And an IEP really sets out all your child's weaknesses. And so that if you're not prepared for, and even if you are prepared for, like we're going into our 4th IEP, and I know that it's going to be really difficult to hear all the areas that my child is different and struggles in. So what I started doing is every morning or an hour before whatever my IEP meeting, I go and get a coffee from Starbucks or my local coffee shop or whatever, and every time I feel like I'm going to cry or feel like I'm getting overwhelmed or somebody says something really difficult, I take a sip of my coffee, and I use that opportunity to sip my coffee, take a deep breath, and mentally I remember something positive about my child and remember how far she's come and remember all of the positive things. It's making me more emotional thinking about it, but remember all the positive things about my child. And it can all happen in a split second, but nobody else in the room knows that that's what I'm doing. It just is something that helps me. So it doesn't have to be coffee. It can be a piece of jewelry that you twirl. It can be whatever you would like it to be. But try to have it be something discreet so that you don't look like, you're over there rubbing your hands or something like that. Some people bring, their binder with a clear sleeve that has their child's pictures, and you can look at your child's pictures. Whatever is going to be soothing to you personally, do that. So that's number 2. Number 3, this is something I started doing after probably my second IEP, second or third IEP, is dress to impress. So you don't have to come in full face makeup or, dressed in a suit or something like that, but I think my first one I went to in yoga pants and like a t-shirt, and I just felt frumpy compared to everybody who's dressed in business casual clothing. You're going to be with other professionals and they're going to be dressed professionally, and if nothing else for your self-esteem, you feel better if you put a little bit effort into how you dressed. So I know that might sound silly, but for me, I just put on a little lipstick. That's the only makeup I have on today, and I have a tank top on and some jeans. So it's not like I'm dressing formally, but it's just something that I know I look professional or I look a little bit more put together. So it's just about your self-confidence and knowing that you are an equal part of that team. You have just as much to say as any of the professionals that are there, and your voice counts. So number 4 is to know your rights. So often there will be a social worker, speech therapist, OT, psychiatrist, maybe the school principal, and maybe the teacher from that grade that your child's going into. So it's a lot of people, and they all have their own opinions, and they all are looking out kind of for their area of interest. So you have to keep that in mind when they are making their suggestions. If you know that your child would really benefit from a one-on-one aid versus being in a special ed classroom, advocate for that. Know your rights and know kind of the boundaries of what you can advocate for and really push for, and where you can't. Know that you have options, and often what will happen is the school will kind of present, this is what we would like to do, and you can accept that, or you can say, no, I don't accept that, this is what I would like to do, and then there's some negotiation. But oftentimes parents don't even know that you can negotiate, that you can ask for further assessments, that you can ask for additional services. They think that whatever the school presents, that's the only option, and it's not. So know what your options are, know what the options are in your neighborhood, what your legal rights are for your state, and be prepared to advocate for those. So the last one is number 5, and that is to take notes. So what I do is I have this little notebook, and it has everything in this one little notebook. It has my daughter's doctor's appointments, and then right on the day, I will take notes on what happened. That way, it's all in one place. I used to have a binder, but then I would be out running an errand, and we'd have a doctor's appointment afterwards, and I'd forget to bring the binder. So this is my planner for the week. I leave space to write notes on what happened at school, what happened at a doctor's appointment, what happened at a certain meeting. That way it's all in one spot. It fits in my purse easily. It comes with me everywhere. And I don't have to wonder what happened. Take notes at the IEP meeting on things you want to research or suggestions that your staff members are making, so you can go home and review it. You don't have to finalize that IEP that day. You can review it, and if you finalize the IEP, you can always revisit it. So yeah, I hope these tips were helpful. If you have any questions or would like more of these kind of videos, please feel free to comment. And thanks for watching.